I hear somebody's voice in my head asking this question. I hear you. I hear you asking this question.
Okay.
But first, before I say that, because when I hear from you, this continent is warm. It's my people. It's receptive. When I hear from you, it's empowering. It's invigorating. It inspires me. When I hear from you, it's familial. It's family. When I hear from you, it's a place of ancestry and lineage.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a person right now asking, if we got all that here, why are so many people literally killing themselves?
So you know what's going on about. They don't. My answer. I think that because as Africans, we are not taught this.
Yeah.
Our leaders who emerge from us without that understanding govern us in a way that makes it very difficult for people to see how they can thrive here. I think if African leaders were Pan-African, truly understood the history, but not just the history. For me, history is only as useful, as important as how it's useful to help build the future I want.
Yeah.
Our leaders don't think that we can all prosper here. So they steal. And
talk about it.
And they deprive everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the power of marketing, like the kind of marketing that has been done to make the West look like it's heaven. It's incredible. I think it's brilliant. It's been done so well that even if it stopped today, it would take us years to get past it. So we are living in an end. We are playing someone's game. You never win.
Yes.
Why do we live in this country and have glass windows and tiles and build the way we built?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's someone else's game. If we do not start looking at our own situation and creating solutions with our own resources, then we'll always be working for someone else.
Yes.
If everything that I need to look successful, to believe that I'm successful, has to come from somewhere else, I will slave here, but I'll send all of that money to that other person because that is the validation that I need. If the symbols of success are not African, we are playing someone else's game. So why don't we leave?
But here's a...
Oh, that's really deep.
I had somebody ask me this question. They said, listen, take a poor person born in, I'm going to God, poor person born in Ghana, poor person born in America. They said, I'm just giving what they said, the likelihood of success in terms of being able to take care of you, stop being a billionaire, being able to take care of yourself, take care of your family, get a good job, get education. Person in America, million times over, more likely to be successful than a poor person. Both poor, one raised in America, one raised in Ghana. I'm not talking about politics and all that.
Hold on.
What are the metrics?
I'm just telling you what they said.
Hold up. Can I just add one wrench? If they don't get killed by police first. We're black people, so
Said that
we're going to talk about black.
it's to be poor.
No. You know.
Tim, I do think that the definition of what it means to be successful has also been skewed.
Yes. Please.
Materialism has been equated to success.
Yes.
Whereas typically, as a Ghanaian or an African, it will be that you live in peace,
Yes.
you live in happiness,
Freedom.
you are able to take care of your basic needs, but even what basic needs are have also been redefined. and so you are on this never-ending quest to look successful when that definition of success does not even fit your indigenous context.
And what I would add to that is, I think it's human nature to want more.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about materiality
Yeah.
when I question
Yeah.
metrics of success. I'm saying, if I have to work hard to buy an iPhone because it is an iPhone that makes me look successful, and yet, if I had the Ghanaian equivalent of a luxury phone that when I buy creates wealth here,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So every time I work hard, I take my money to go and buy a car that wasn't made here. I'm enriching someone else. It's simple, you know.
Because it's the inherent value of being African and putting back into our culture and our economies that isn't taught. right? It's like that's what they've robbed by robbing us of understanding our history. Because if we knew a time when our civilizations were running the world with all the technologies and the agriculture and, you know,
That would really be empowering.
that would be the empowerment, the Mansa Musa, the like just all these figures and civilizations. And that was some of the learning I had to have to also decolonize my mind, because it wasn't until, right? So I grew up in the States very colonized in my mind, thinking I'm never going to go back there. I might have to visit because of family obligation, but like building my life and career and all that, that's all going to be in America. And as I'm going through this decolonization and recognizing, you know, I've been misvaluing the, you know, what is really happening there. And even though I know that what they're sharing, the news about war, poverty, disease is not all that it is. I know that some of that is just a one perspective. I still am succumbing to it. It was starting to learn the history. Even my dad saying something to your point, like, you know, because I was like, okay, well, why do we keep fighting? Why do we have all these civil wars? I didn't understand it. He's like, my dad, former UN, economics, all of that. It's like, you know, the way they drew up the map was based on colonial powers wanting to take resources, like specifically the resources of the land. So I'm like, oh, and so we're within multiple tribes within one country trying to conform to this idea, the game, the system we're playing into this nation. Though, oh, no wonder it's not inherently in us that we're fighting. This was done to us. This is a system placed on us. Slavery is a system. Colonization is a system. So then I said,
I wonder how to keep those
But
systems.
it's not really true, because there was fighting before colonization. It's not like everyone.
yes,
Everywhere.
There's tidal waves that are happening right now.
There was fighting everywhere.
everywhere though.
It was America form. Like fighting is part of human nature.
Yeah.
But materialism is part of human nature.
It's one thing when you're fighting, but you're on your land and like it's your neighboring land. It's somebody coming from a whole nother continent that intentionally is gonna rob you from your resource and not give you nothing and kill you in the process. Like we didn't have that.
I mean, significantly, to impose a kind of system on you that will perpetually keep you down.
It was intentionally.
So it's not just coming to fight or
Yes.
draw the lines and all that, but
You said that word perpetual is used in the Bible.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of scriptures that talk about some of the things that we're seeing happening right here on the continent.
So I represent the average person. So if we're that smart, but that intelligent and all of this, then why is it still happening right now? Because we talked about history. Right now, in this country and other countries, we're struggling
it's
for
not happening. Yeah.
It's leadership.
roads.
Leadership.
There is girls' schools.
Yeah.
Girls' schools with no washrooms.
How can it be?
In 2023.
Yeah, Tim, you know, picking from what we just said, first of all, systems, invisible yet powerful systems, have been created to keep us in that state.
Yes.
When you look at the governance, even the way we are governed, if you look at leadership, the way we are led, you can clearly see that systems have been created that will ensure that even the way we are led and governed, we will still be down.
Example.
Typical example, when it comes to agriculture, right, there's a lot of emphasis on producing cash crops. Most of the cash crops that are produced, we don't necessarily need them. They are not things that we need for our own survival and our own welfare. Ghana is not a heavy coffee drinker. We don't have many people eat chocolate heavily in Ghana. But these are the cash crops, cocoa and co. Timber, we use some here and there. We can use it more locally. But the focus is to just export every one of them. Now, onion, tomatoes, cabbage, lettuce, pepper, okra, rice. These are things we eat heavily in Ghana. Why is it that we don't invest in those sectors or we don't invest in those crops? But here the government's taking loan to finance cocoa instead of onion.